Welcome, fantasy football people, to the Commish Podcast. I'm your friendly neighborhood commissioner, Tony.
And I'm Ricky Dave.
All right, and today we're going to continue with the mock draft. But first, a few things to go over. We got rankings that we're working on. I'm working on. He doesn't like rankings. But it's okay. Got some raw data that we're working on. We're going to be using that in the mock draft today. Don't have rookies in there yet, but it's okay. Raw data, still good stuff to work on. So, mock drafts. What are mock drafts? Do you know what a mock draft is?
No. Not a clue. Not a single thing.
You didn't even use a mock draft when we did the Dynasty stuff?
I'm not going to lie. I did not. Played by ear. And by ear, I mean just let the phone do its thing.
It's not a good way to go.
It wasn't. That's why I lost. But this year, I could win.
In redraft or Dynasty?
Both. It's looking pretty good. I got a real good chance of winning.
Well, you're also in my division, so I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen.
Still looking pretty good. 99.9%.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, well. So, mock drafts. What are mock drafts? This guy doesn't know. I'm going to help you find out. So, a mock draft is exactly what that sounds like. It's mocking a fake draft. So, it's just to pretend, to get you kind of used to what's going on. You can either, if you know what your draft position is, you can pick that draft position and work on it from there to see how it's going to be like in that position when you actually get to your real draft with all the real people. Or if you don't know, and with the way that I do our drafts, is you don't actually know what your draft position is. It's all randomized. So an hour before the draft, I randomize the positions, and that's when you know when your real draft position is. So whenever I'm mock drafting, I just randomize in multiple positions at the beginning of the draft, middle of the draft, end of the draft. And in doing so, what that allows me to do is see what it's going to be like in the beginning, the middle, and the end. So I have a general idea of what it's like in each one of those positions. What I also do is allow one person from the previous year to actually pick their draft position. And that's just something I do as commissioner to kind of make it fun. Because whenever it comes to those who don't make it to the playoffs, they just kind of say, I don't like this. I'm done. I'm not in the playoffs. And then they kind of forget. So to keep it interesting, we then have the consolation bracket, which pretty much every platform has, is a consolation bracket. So anybody who's not in the playoffs gets another playoff that they can get into. Most people tend to ignore it. So then I started making it fun by saying, if you win that consolation bracket, then you get to pick your position in next year's draft. And what's happened the past couple of years is they just pick the number one pick in the draft. Sure, you can do that. You don't have to, but you can. So then you get the top pick in the draft. So the mock draft, what that, like I said, allows you to do is just to pretend what it's going to be like in the real draft to get used to doing that. Now, whenever you're doing a mock draft and in your real draft, you get to do and see ADP. So that's average draft position. So if you look at your phone right now, because he's got the mock draft up that I've already invited him into, and I'll show you all how to do that, you'll be able to see the ADP, the average draft position of every player. Now, typically what you'll see in all years previously, you'll have a running back at the top. This year's a bit different because running backs had a bit of a down year the year before, and now we actually have Justin Jefferson, who's a wide receiver from the Vikings, as a top pick. So it's a bit different. And what that means is the average draft position is that it is what everyone else is drafting with and what they see as who they should pick in that position across the platform. The ADP is going to be different in each platform that you use, but it should be pretty close to the same. So whether that's Sleeper, which is what we're using today and is what I prefer as a commissioner, as I went over last time, it just allows me to pause, stop the draft, change the start time, allows me to redo draft picks in case someone messed up, or make sure if someone's on auto draft, then I can pick someone for them if it's in the first few picks, just to make sure that those who are paying attention have the best chance. And then if you're in any other platform, so whether that's Yahoo or ESPN or the NFL platform, the ADP is going to be slightly different, but still relatively close to what you see in any other platform. So on Sleeper, he's looking through that, and what he can see is Justin Jefferson, Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce, in that order, based on the type of roster that we picked. So with the type of roster that you pick, and you can set that in your mock draft to match exactly what you're doing. So we picked it based off of the type of roster that I mentioned in the last episode, which is the basic roster. That's a 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 flex, which is wide receiver or running back, a kicker, a defense, and 7 bench spots. I picked 7 just because it allows you to have at least 1 extra player per position, if that's what you want to do. And that's just how I put it as commissioner, just to make sure that that setup is good. Now, ADP, like I said, that's just average draft position. That doesn't mean it's a proper ranking. You can go with whatever rankings that you want. Right now, my raw rankings that I have set are based on projections from last year. What all those players that played last year did, projected into a full season for this year, just to give me a basic idea of numbers. Now, I'm going to go through all of that and then project out what I think they're going to do. If I know a player like Kyler Murray, like you have, is going to play only half the season, which is my projection, even though some of the information that's coming out is actually saying, oh, he may be ready by week 1 or week 2. I personally don't think that. Even though he got hurt around the middle of the season last year, it's an ACL tear. It takes a bit longer to heal. Yeah, well, you've got Colt McCoy in your dynasty team, so you've got a bit of protection there. Okay, and now more information that you might start hearing as you listen to either this podcast or any other podcast and information for fantasy is sleepers. One of the reasons this is called Sleeper. And busts. So sleepers, when it comes to fantasy, is someone that's not like high end, like the stars. So like Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce. Those are the stars, the big names that you'll hear. Sleepers, when it comes to fantasy, are either the no names, kind of, or the players, maybe rookies, just guys that are kind of farther down the line, maybe your third string guys you haven't really heard of, where you're going to get them later in drafts, but they have a good chance to have pretty high potential, get those high boom weeks to where no one was really expecting it, but you might be expecting it. So a sleeper is a player that you're going to kind of take a big swing on later in drafts to hopefully help your team out. Now, you don't want to do that early in drafts. You don't want to do that in, your first 5 rounds, 6 rounds, because those are the times you want to go with the really secure guys where you're like, okay, I know these guys are going to really help my team out. I know these guys are going to be at the top first string of my list. So those are the kind of guys that you want to kind of put on your bench just to hold out and see what happens. It might be a rookie that you're not really sure about, or that second string guy where the first guy you didn't get a chance on, but that guy right behind him, hey, you think the first guy might be kind of injury prone, so you pick up the second guy. He's the sleeper because if that first guy gets hurt, okay, this guy's going to come in and bust out because it's like his second or third year in the league, and he has a really good chance. Now, the busts, those are the ones you have to worry about, because the busts are the ones you should stay away from, because they're the ones where you might think that they're like sleepers, but they're for sure the ones that you're like, I know that he's going to be that injury prone guy. So just like we were talking about, that injury prone guy, that's the first string, that you think he's going to have a good year, but he's on that bum knee, and any week he can just, it's out, and he's gone for 5 weeks, and that's really going to hurt you. So you got to be on the lookout for those sleepers, maybe those second string guys, maybe those no-name guys that you feel might have a chance that you can pick up on later in drafts that aren't going to be your first string, top of your roster guys, but has a chance to pick up there, maybe put into your flex spot, that are really going to help you out. Now, strategies for your draft. This is a mistake that I made early on when I started playing fantasy, which I thought you had to do, just because it's the way it lists it out. Where if you look at it, you see your roster, and you see it as, okay, I've got my quarterback, my 2 running backs, my 2 wide receivers, my tight end, my flex spot, my kicker, and my defense, and then all my bench spots. You think I need to go in that order. No, do not do that. That is not the order you need to go in. You don't need to go quarterback first. You don't need to go running back, wide receiver, and so on, down the line. That's not the way to go, because you need to go what's the most important. And the most important is going to be your running back and your wide receiver. Now, if you're doing a super flex, a quarterback is going to be high priority, like we talked about last time. Doesn't mean you have to try to do that, because you can potentially get a decent quarterback later in the draft. If you're in a single quarterback, like in the mock draft we're going to do today, which is a basic roster, then you can definitely get a quarterback later in the draft that's going to be middle tier, and you'd be all right. You're not going to get one of the high-end guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, one of those guys, unless you shoot for it second, third round. And you'll see it if you look at the ADP that's what you're going to have to shoot for if you want to do that. The only problem is if you do that, then you're going to be hurting yourself with your wide receiver and running back spots. So typically, you really just have to kind of play that game, and that's why you do mock drafts. You see what's going to happen if I shoot for that spot, if I try to go that Patrick Mahomes early second, third round, that Josh Allen second, third round, and see what happens. And then how does my roster shake out? And if you don't like it, that's fine. Now you know, and then you play it out again. Don't shoot for that spot and go for that running back, go for that wide receiver, and see what happens. Different strategies if you don't do that is 0 running back or 0 wide receiver. And all that means is in your first 2 or 3 rounds, you just skip out on either the running back, 0 RB, or skip out on the wide receiver, 0 wide receiver. And you just stack up on the wide receiver running back spots just to kind of load yourself up and then see what happens later in the draft. And again, this is what mock drafting is for, is just to see how you shake out. Now, depending on where you are in the draft, it can work out better or worse for you. So if you're in the beginning, kind of with how it's shaking out right now, you might want to do a 0 wide receiver, just because all of the high-end wide receivers are gonna hit there, but you might have a really good chance of getting the good running backs right at that spot. And then maybe later, if you're on the end of the draft, so like the 10, 11, 12 spot, you might want to go that 0 running back, because you might have a chance of those kind of top tier wide receivers, and just to see what happens. But again, it's a mock draft. Just practice and see where you hit. Any questions so far? I kind of threw a lot at you.
Yeah,
at you guys.
On the mock draft, it's like, so if I were to just be setting that up, like how does that it exactly help me? Like I'm picking, like I can't be doing it on my own, right? Like I couldn't do my own mock.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
because like isn't the whole point of like the draft thing where it's all like, all right, we got 5 dudes, whatever, on the team, or how many ever number you need, and it's like, all right, I'm first, I pick that guy, you're second, you pick the next guy.
No, so that's what's nice about Sleeper, is that you can mock with as many teams as you want, and all it does is auto pick in the spots that aren't there.
Okay, so like robots, I'll be just picking with robot. Oh, okay. But then they'll be picking. Well, I guess I don't know. How do they pick?
They pick for the most part like
the best
based on ADP. Whoever is in that draft position, based on what everyone else has been picking. So ADP plays a part in what they're picking, but it doesn't always happen that way. So they'll shift around a little bit. Like they have a variance of maybe like 20-15%, something like that. Because I've seen it to where they don't pick that ADP, where you're like, I want that player, but based on what the ADP says when I'm mock drafting, I'm not going to get that player. And then randomly the robot before me picks some player that's off by like 2 ADP, and like, oh, okay, I'm going to get that player.
Okay.
And so they have a slight variance, but it's not by much.
Okay. And then it'd probably be bad if I was just like picking all the best quarterbacks and then like just like save some of those guys and be like, oh my god, where's all the dudes? And then
if you just try to stack
that's definitely
a bad strategy.
I believe it. I believe it. I can see that going bad.
Because then you're just going to hurt yourself because now
all these quarterbacks.
Yeah, especially if you're in a 1 quarterback league and you have like 5 quarterbacks. And you have to realize that it's 12 teams, right?
Right.
And there's 32 starting quarterbacks. If you've got 5 of them, everyone else has the pick of, what does that make it? 27?
Yeah.
That doesn't really help you.
Unless, you have what the other player, your other teammates, not teammates, whatever you call them.
League mates?
Yeah, your league mates. Unless you have the quarterback they want and be like, so, I got your Patrick Mahomes. How about you give me...
What, Derrick Henry?
Yeah, and just like a couple of dudes. And it's like, yeah. And then, bam, you're set because you're like, all right, I got my quarterbacks. And then I traded all those good ones that I snagged before everyone else because everyone was grabbing wide receivers and running backs.
You can try that, but just
it's a bad one.
Just from having played for so long, that is a terrible, terrible strategy. You have a better chance of getting 5 running backs.
Wow.
And trying to play that out. Because
those are...
Because you have 2, potentially 3 spots to use running backs on. So you have a better that space is better used.
So you go on the flex, super flex, and then just whatever their position is.
You have 2 running back spots, and then the flex spot in what we're drafting now. But if you're playing super flex, they can go there.
So 4, pretty good. Dang, yeah, all right.
And you have a better chance there. But if you're playing what we're drafting today, which is just 1 quarterback, and you're trying to do 5 quarterbacks to pick off, even if you're doing Superflex, you have 2 spots, and you're trying to hold 5 quarterbacks.
So you could trade 3. That's pretty good.
You can, but only if you're doing a dynasty draft. Then that makes sense.
Yes.
But not trying to stack it at the beginning, because then you're just really, really hurting yourself. If you want to spread it out over the entire draft of like 30 positions, then that makes sense to try that. But trying to stack it at the beginning, you're just really hurting yourself.
Fair enough. So it's not the best strategy, but if you would like to try it, stack running backs.
Yes, stack running backs or wide receivers would be the best strategy to try that with. Definitely not quarterbacks. You can try it just for fun, but not
most
not
likely will shoot you in the foot.
Yeah, you're definitely shooting yourself in your foot if you try that. Now, one term you might hear is the running back dead zone, which has shifted a bit since past years, just because running backs have shifted where they're projected. In past years, they're projected like the first 3 or 4 picks is like all running backs. Now you might get 5 in the first round, 6 maybe, and typically that's been like 8 running backs in the first round. And this isn't a 12-team league, which is average. But what the running back dead zone means is you get a lot of average running backs where you don't really want to pick one there. You should just let other people go and grab them. And at this point in the draft, which used to be around like 4 or 5, and everybody would go for running backs. You're like, crap, I need a running back. And it's not a running back you really want. And it's just kind of like, meh, running back. But you just grab one there because everyone else is trying to grab one. And you're just like, I need one. But you're just like, I'll just get one kind of later that might help me. And I'm not really going to try to hurt myself. I have a really good wide receiver that I could have picked at that spot. And that's the dead zone, where you have really good wide receivers that are like the second and third on their team that could really help your team versus the running back that's not really going to do much for you. And you could have just gotten a running back at that same level 2 rounds later. So there's really no point. So that dead zone has shifted just because of the worth of the running back right now, fantasy-wise, has shifted to where now it's probably around 5, 6, 7, right around that area. The dead zone has just shifted. And like I said, all that really means is there's that a run of running backs, it's hard to get out, has happened when you don't really need to do that. So sometimes when a run happens, so like you see a run of quarterbacks, and you're just like, crap, everyone's going for quarterbacks. I need to go get a quarterback. Or a run of wide receivers. Oh crap, everyone's getting wide receivers. I need to go get a wide receiver. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that. But the running back dead zone is just something that is clearly defined as what happens. There's not really a wide receiver dead zone or a quarterback dead zone. It's just the running back dead zone. As far as quarterbacks and a dead zone, like I said, there's not really one that happens. It's just with quarterbacks in a one quarterback league, it's typical that you just wait until later. Unless you want one of those high end guys, like I said earlier, and you just see what happens. So you try to get one of those high end guys, but you're going to hurt yourself by trying to get, by losing out on a wide receiver running back that you could really use in that second or third round. So you take that high end guy who you know is really going to help your team, but you're just going to lose out on maybe that, maybe not Christian McCaffrey, but who might be around that area. Let's see. Let's see. Not sure. You might lose out on someone like Tyreek Hill might fall down there. Stephon Diggs might fall down there. CeeDee Lamb might fall. Nick Chubb might fall down there. So those are guys that might fall down in that area that you could lose out on by taking one of those quarterbacks. But that's just one of those things where you mock and see what happens. Now, what you'll also notice, which you'll also notice when we played Dynasty, what you guys will notice is drafting. You would expect just by doing anything, going in order with a bunch of other people, is that you do it linearly. So you picked one, I picked two. Next round, you pick one, I pick two. It's not what happens. It goes 1, 2, all the way to 12, and then starts back over in the opposite direction. 12 back to 1. So that's what's called a snake draft. So the reason that we do that is because based on if we actually picked again based on point totals at the end of the year, the person who got the top score at pick 1, if we picked in that exact order, would have more points if they picked again at the top of the order the next round. The next best player, so the 13th best player, they'd have more points than the person that would have picked 12th and then back again at 24th. So to even that out, that's why we do a snake draft. So the person has a more fair chance picking 12 and 13 at the end by starting back over. Than the person picking first and then picking 13th. So they have to pick first and then wait all the way back and pick 24th. And it's just to even it back out based on fair chance. All right. So do you have any more questions about basic mock draft and other drafting things going on?
Nope, I think I get it. But don't ask me to explain.
Well, you're here to ask the questions. You don't have to explain everything.
Right.
I'm here to help you as your commissioner.
Exactly. No, I think I get it. Yeah, no, a very handy dandy tool to help build the team.
Me or Sleeper?
Both.
Okay. All right. So here we have just basic Sleeper and the mock draft. I've already added him in to Sleeper. He's got it on his phone. Now, what I can do is, as you can see here, I've got start draft. And we don't have anybody set on to teams yet, but I can go over here and pull up this little information box, which I already had open, and go to draft settings, draft order, and randomize teams.
Oh,
I've got him there, and go ahead and select a spot there. Just go ahead and claim one. There we go. Let me back out of there and go back to draft settings, draft order. There we go. All right, I'm going to randomize that again now that he's in there. There we go. Now it's fully randomized since he's selected on there. I have been randomized to 4. He's been randomized to 11. So I'm near the top of the draft. He's near the end. Since we're in a snake draft, I'm going to pick pretty early, and then I'm going to have to long wait for it to come back to me in the second round. But he's going to have a quick turn for it to come back to him. So I'll get out of that. And we can go ahead and see that I'm up here. And he is over here. All right, so we can see most of the draft board here. I'll scroll back and forth so that we can see that. Now down here, we have the ADP. Like I said, that it was Justin Jefferson up here at the top. Typically, what you would have seen in years earlier is that Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler and other running backs would have been up near the top, but it's a bit of a weird year with what happened with running backs last year. Then we have over here, we have the queue. So you can add players to your queue. Then you have your roster, so you can see your roster construction when that's there. And you have a chat. So if you want to chat with other people that are here in the mock draft with you, go back to the queue. If you want to add players to your queue, all I have to do is click this little page here. If I do that, then I add Justin Jefferson to my queue. If I want to add another player, I can click there. So I have Christian McCaffrey and Justin Jefferson. I can move them around. And if they're in your queue, you don't have to go search for them again, because you can always go through search with the find a player over here. And then if you want to remove them, you just click remove. And if you want to draft them, you just click up there, and then you'll be able to see a plus button to add, to actually draft them when it's your turn. You click X down there. And the little stars here, these are just players that you can star, so you can automatically see them if you want to. So that's your watch list. If you want to see just QBs, there you go. Running back, wide receiver, tight end, flex, kicker, and defense. So I'm just going to go ahead back to all. I'll remove these guys from my watch list. And then if you want to see only drafted players, you can do that. If you want to see only watch list, you can do that. If you want to see rookies only, you can do that as well. You see the rookies here are the ones marked with a little purple R. All right. So if we are good to go, are you ready to go?
Go.
All right. If I need to, I can always pause the draft. That'll be over here when we get that started. And I'll go ahead and pause on each one of the picks just so we can talk about them a little bit. So I'll go ahead and hit start. It's going to ask me if I'm sure. I'm going to click OK. Oh, we got fancy noises.
Wow.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click this pause here. So it looks like even though we had Justin Jefferson up at the top,
you didn't even get
so like I was telling you, it's randomized. Not randomized. It goes by ADP, but there is a slight variance, like maybe 15-20%. They don't go exactly in that order. And this was a big variance because now Christian McCaffrey and Justin Jefferson are still set up. So what I want to do here is I don't want to try to go quarterback because this is only a one quarterback league, what we're doing here. So I want to go ahead and take a look at my rankings, which I've got over here on the side. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll over here. I'm going to take a look at, let's see, my ascending order here and look at my running backs. And based on my running backs, Eckler, which was already taken, he was my top running back based on these raw rankings. And Christian McCaffrey's next. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is, just because he's in San Francisco and he's sitting with Kyle Shanahan, who knows how to use him, and now he's going to have a full offseason in the system. He might get hurt, but the times that he's not hurt is going to be awesome. And his floor is so high that it doesn't even matter if he has a bad game. I'm going to go ahead and select, and let me resume the draft. Resume. It's going to put me back at 2 minutes. I click this little plus here. Plus. There we go. Christian McCaffrey. And now we continue on. We got Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Travis Kelce. Of course, he's up there in the top. Then Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to pause this for him so that David can get there. Jonathan Taylor. I'm surprised he went so high. Personally, I'm a little wary just of what happened last year. He burned me last year. Then we got Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. And now we sit with David, who's got some choices here. Based on ADP, we see that we have Saquon Barkley, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown. Let's see, he's got the top running back he's got available, Saquon Barkley, who's actually pretty high. Based on, if we take a look here.
Yeah, your stuff. But
based on my stuff, I see that we actually have Josh Jacobs sitting above Saquon Barkley. And yet Josh Jacobs down here on ADP is at 18. Which is fine. I'm very surprised. Maybe people don't feel that he's going to do very well. I think he's going to do pretty well. Whenever I get more of my rankings done, I expect him to actually be pretty hot. He should be pretty high up there. I expect him to definitely be in my top 10 when I finish my rankings.
But Derrick Henry you have pretty high, and over here they don't have him high.
Well, Derrick Henry, as far as the Titans are concerned, He should be good. Wait, Derrick Henry, you're right. He hasn't even been taken yet. Derrick Henry's way down here, so yeah. that might be a good choice there. I figured Derrick Henry was taken. I didn't realize he was still on the board. So yeah, Derrick Henry's third in my raw rankings. And that would definitely be a risky pick. He's a high risk pick because the wheels might fall off if you took him. But when he's on the field, everyone knows he's getting the ball, and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter at all, because when he was playing, it was just ridiculous. And based on the raw data that I've got coming over, this is before I finished my rankings for the Tennessee Titans. I've got projected attempts of 370 and projected yards of 1,600. Now, I doubt he's really going to hit that. I would project that he's probably going to get somewhere in the range of at least 1,400. Still, that's amazing. And touchdowns, 12. So double. That's probably about what I would project him. At least 10 touchdowns and 1,400 yards. So that's not bad.
Dang.
You just have to be worried about him getting hurt. But
that's their only good guy, right?
Yeah, pretty much for the Titans. That's the only good guy. Yeah,
That's why he's like such a high risk. It's like, oh man, because once he gets hurt, it's done for. Well, it's a good thing this is a mock and not the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be that classic cliche and just pick the first best guy that they say is the best.
Yeah. Well, so you've got to. Oh, I have to unpause. So what you did right there is you put him into your queue instead.
Oh, I thought that was adding it, pushing the page.
All right. So there you go. So resume, and then you can click the draft button right there.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So he went ahead and took. And look, you if you want, you can go ahead and still take
Right, D. Henry.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that too, and I was like, oh.
If you want to go ahead and take the 0 wide receiver.
He is the best known to be right. But is he better than Chubb? See, this is what's confusing me. How come D. Henry is on top before Chubb's when it's saying Chubb's is going to have more points?
It's projected points based on what they have in their system, so their ranking system. But the ADP is what everyone is drafting. So this is all fantasy players drafting in the system, and then the ranking, the actual like points that they did in their own rankings. So the people behind Sleeper and their rankings, and then the ADP is what like people like you and I are doing right now, just drafting.
Ooh. I guess.
All right, so you want me to resume? You good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've resumed it.
Freaking Team 9 took Mahomes.
Okay, let me go ahead and pause. Oh, there we go. Okay. It got a little stuck there for a second. All right, so I paused again back on me. So he went ahead and went 2 running backs, but he's got 2 beast running backs. Saquon Barkley, who's going to get all the running back work. D. Henry is going to get all the running back work. Between him, he got CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown, Team 12, which is an amazing stack. Then Stephon Diggs, Patrick Mahomes went to Team 9, Nick Chubb, Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, then Amon-Ra, St. Brown. All right, now it's back to me. So I've got a running back. Ooh, okay. So I've got a strong running back.
Pollard.
I could take Pollard. But let's see who we have. I could go another running back, but I kind of want to stay even. I could hope that a quarterback makes it back to me, which is doubtful because that's 6 picks. This is tough. I kind of want to make sure that I have a wide receiver here. Let's go back to my overall rankings here. Scroll back. All right, let's switch back to my overall rankings. Let's see. Let's see, what wide receivers do I have? Let me switch to my wide receiver rankings.
Waddle.
Waddle is good. That's for sure.
Waddle's a beast.
Jalen Waddle, Keelan Allen.
Waddles.
Man, this is tough. I mean, and Chris McCaffrey's going to really hold down. Yeah, he's really going to hold down my running back room. What other running backs are available? Is Tony Pollard and Breece Hall. And I don't think those guys are going to get back to me. And that's tough. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take Waddle, because Waddle I know is gonna be good, even though he's got Tyreek Hill there. And if Tyreek Hill by chance misses some time, Waddle is also gonna be killer. So let me go ahead and resume that draft and go back to. There we go. Got Waddle. Yeah. Allen went gone. All right. So Josh Allen didn't make it back to me. Breece Hall, who I was hoping I might get back. Pollard. Pollard would have been nice. I was really hoping for Breece Hall. T. Higgins. I wasn't looking at T. Higgins. Mm-hmm. But let's see. Coming back to me, Jalen Waddle. But. Who second, I would not have minded. Jalen Hurts came back. I will take Jalen Hurts. And then on down the line, we got Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, Chris Olave. Of course, he's high up. I was really hoping he might have come back in the 4th round. Joe Burrow, Mark Andrews, Travis Etienne. Now we're back to David. Dang. David's got choices to make. He's already got 2 running backs. So where are you thinking of going?
Well, I feel like you got to get that QB because they're just getting crappier.
Well, like I said, at this point, you already got the high end QBs.
No,
you already have 2 running backs, but the high end QBs really the only one. Well, you've got a couple left. So Justin Fields, if you believe in Justin Fields, you can go for Justin Fields, but you still have Lamar Jackson left. Then Justin Herbert is also still there. I took Jalen Hurts because he had a stellar year last year. He finished as quarterback 1 or 2, I believe. Now maybe it was 3. Patrick Mahomes also had a good year, so he was up there. He was a top 3 quarterback. But you could also, you got Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. Tight end is gone, so you can wait on tight end.
Yeah.
So really, you're gonna need a wide receiver, but the wide receiver's starting to get pretty thin now.
Yeah, well then, dang, I guess that's what I would have to get is a wide receiver. But this.
All right, so let me go ahead and pause so you can talk it over. Remember, this is just mock, so,
right?
So
right.
We want to talk. We want to talk through everything.
And that's it.
So let's see. You've got
Samuel.
Yeah, you've got Deebo Samuel who had a bit of a down year, but there are a lot of mouths to feed there. You got Christian McCaffrey. You've got George Kittle. Then let's see who else is there that's got. Those are 2 main guys. Oh, Brandon Ayuk. But you can wait so you can get Brandon Ayuk later because Brandon Ayuk didn't even come off the board.
What are you reading from?
I'm just looking. I know the names.
Oh, I was like, I don't see these.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah. Decisions. Dang. What is RAC? Received? What's RAC?
Receptions.
Boy, I don't know. I guess I'll just get what it says is on the top.
Yeah, but then that gives you another quarterback, or another running back. Sorry.
Oh no! Not like the top. I mean, just like the best of what's on top, wide receiver wise. So Samuel.
So all right. So you'll take Deebo Samuel. So at that point, which is fine if you don't really know what to pick based on some kind of ranking, and you don't really know what to look at. Then that really doesn't hurt to go with that. Just okay, right. Based on both what's available and what your team needs, and your team at this point could use a wide receiver. So that doesn't hurt to go there. So let's go ahead and resume.
Dang, Debo.
So you go Debo, and then Ken Walker and Jahmyr Gibbs go. Oh, wow, Jahmyr Gibbs went pretty high. Okay, wait. Okay, no, never mind. Jahmyr Gibbs is in Detroit. All right, so now back to you.
And now that I have a wide receiver, I don't really need to get another one.
At this point, no, you don't really need another wide receiver because you've got one, and you've got time to come back and get another one.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, but it just stinks because it's like I know QBs. I feel like become tight ends ain't looking too good.
Well, tight ends you can wait. The 2 top tight ends are gone, so at this point you just kind of wait around.
That's pretty sad. There's only like 2 tight ends everyone's gonna fight for, and then everyone else is just like, I'm done. I don't need to be picking tight ends. I need a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you're saying I need to pick another wide receiver then?
Well, it's either you try to get a wide receiver now, or you take Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, because he's for sure gonna be picked. Like,
yeah, there's no way Lamar Jackson's getting back to you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I'm making a big deal about it. This isn't real. 17, 15? No, it's okay.
No, I can pause it.
No. I need it.
You need that little extra.
Yeah. We'll just see.
All right. So you went with Keenan Allen. All right, then you got.
Come on! No, dang it!
No, there's no way Lamar Jackson.
It was looking good.
There's no way.
No one wasn't getting it.
Look at how many picks. What, 20 picks to come back to? There's no way. All right. So we got after Keenan Allen, We got Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Tyler Hawkinson. Hawkinson. I forget his first name. Then Lamar Jackson, of course. There was no way Lamar Jackson was getting back to you. There's no way. All right. So I've got Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Hurts.
And now you're going to pick Jay Fields?
Okay, so I'll go ahead and pause it here. Take a look at what we use. So I can go ahead and just pick flex. And what flex will do is let me see wide receiver and running back. DeAndre Hopkins is still up here, which is odd because he's a free agent. And I guess if you want to take that risk to see and hope he goes somewhere, that's valid. And we should know by the time season starts. But at this point, there's no, I don't see a reason to mock draft him. There's really no point. So we've got, at this point, I'm starting to feel a bit of the running back dead zone a little bit. Okay, so I've got J.K. Dobbins, Dameon Pierce. I know Dameon Pierce is going to take all the work. J.K. Dobbins, he should take all the work. He is questionable. He's coming back from injury. Dameon Pierce also coming back from some injury, not as bad as J.K. Dobbins. Although J.K. Dobbins did come back at the end of the season. This is tough. So, all right. So let me take a look at my running back rankings here. There's Aaron Jones, Ron Stevenson gone, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Najee Harris. So I've actually got Miles Sanders in my raw rankings up right next to Dameon Pierce. So Miles Sanders is actually in Carolina, but I don't have it fully fleshed out. I still have him set in my raw rankings based in Philadelphia. So that one's a bit tough. So Dameon Pierce I have right next to him, so I'm going to go ahead and take Dameon Pierce. I know that's a bit iffy, but I believe in what he's going to be able to do, even though Singletary is going to be there and help split some of the work. I believe in what he's going to be able to do. I know J.K. Dobbins should be good, but I don't know. His injury is a bit tough there. And I saw Dameon Pierce firsthand at the games, and I know he's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and pair him with Christian McCaffrey and see who comes back around to me. So let me go ahead and pause this here and resume. There we go.
Well, because it's on me. Oh, no.
Okay, so between me went DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, Terry McLaurin, Dalvin Cook, Strange, George Kittle, and then it's back to me. So now I'm definitely going to need some wide receivers. I've got 2 running backs. So wide receivers. Okay, so I've got some decent people to play with here. DJ Moore in Chicago, who's definitely going to be top dog. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one. He's at the top of ADP. And I know he's going to be top dog in Chicago with Justin Fields. And there's really no competition. And I know he's a good player and just had terrible work over there in Carolina. I'm going to go ahead and take DJ Moore. J.K. Dobbins went, then Drake London, Christian Watson, Miles Sanders, Alexander Madison, Godwin. I was hoping maybe Godwin got back, but there was pretty much no chance. Then David is going, and let's see what he gets. He's got 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Let's see who's he got.
Guess T. Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, quarterback. And that's not a bad idea, considering, granted, he is in his second year. Well, he'll be in his third, but in his second year was really his rookie year, just because he had a terrible rookie year with what went on around him.
Could be better than Prescott, which is crazy. Guy used to be good. Not no more.
Well, let's see. Based on
Made me sick.
My QB rankings here, let me go ahead and switch that back. My QB rankings, I've got Trevor Lawrence up there pretty high. I've got him as number 9.
Yeah, boy.
And Dak Prescott I've got at 13.
Ugh.
And just in my raw rankings.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Herbert I actually have down at 14. I definitely believe he's going to be higher. But he had a pretty bad year also. And he's got Kellen Moore coming over from the Cowboys. Just because McCarthy from the Cowboys, the head coach, was just like, no, I want to run more. Which is silly. Because Kellen Moore was not the problem.
Uh-oh.
But no, Trevor Lawrence, definitely a good pick if you want to go ahead and try to get that quarterback now. Because this would be around the time
to get
between... it's close to the time. So around 6 to 7 is around the time you want to get that quarterback.
Right. And then freaking Goddard.
Okay. Dallas Goedert, not bad, from Philly. Okay. Kyle Pitts went right before that, along with DeAndre Swift. Then after that, you got Jerry Jeudy, James Conner, Marquise Brown, Alvin Kamara. Wow, Alvin Kamara used to be a high-end pick. Now he's going around 6. Michael Pittman, Cameron Akers. Oh, Cam Akers. I started calling him Cameron. All right, now back to me. I've got 2 wide receivers. I've got 2 running backs. I've got my quarterback. And now I want to see what goes on in my flex. Darren Waller. Javonte Williams, Mike Williams, Rashad White, Brandon Ayuk. I believe in Brandon Ayuk, even though I've already got a San Francisco player. It's not really going to hurt me to have 2 going at 3 from one team. That's when it gets really iffy. But considering the fact that they're not going to be 2 of my top-end guys, I've only got 1 top-end guy as a starter. He'll be my flex guy. It's not really going to hurt. But I do believe in Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, I might be able to get later, considering his ADP is in 70, so I might be able to hold out. That's 6 points, six positions before it comes back to me. Ooh, that's real tough though. I could try to go for Darren Waller now, since there's really no one else to catch the ball. Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. I believe in Darren Waller. I believe he has a chance to do pretty well. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and go Darren Waller, and hopefully Brandon Ayuk comes back. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pause. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, Brandon Ayuk did not come back to me. Javonte Williams. Okay, so let's see who comes back. Ooh. So I can do Mike Williams. Mike Williams is not a bad choice here. The only worry is just health. because I had him last year in my dynasty squad. He wasn't too bad. The games he did play, he did really, really well. It's just the games he was hurt, it was killer. So that's why I got rid of him. But just it was really only 50% of the time I was able to use him, and 50% I was not. He'll be my flex play probably, so that's not really bad. So I'm going to go ahead and take Mike Williams here. Let's go ahead and move down the line. And after that, it goes Isaiah Pacheco, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Rashad White, another rookie, Addison, George Pickens, and then back to David, who's got a tight end, a quarterback, 2 wide receivers, and 2 running backs. So now he's pretty much got his team set. You don't really want to go with your kicker and defense yet. There's not a point. You want to go ahead.
Nobody goes for those guys?
Not yet. Definitely not. You want to wait until you get your double-digit rounds before you go anywhere near that.
What do you mean double-digit rounds?
To where you get around 10, 11 plus before you start going there. Like I said, there's no need to fill out your top positions first, and then actually try to fill out your bench. There's no need to do that. You want to get your best players first, and then go after.
Well, wouldn't a kicker be like best player? Like,
no, your kicker is
because he doesn't get you points.
Yeah, he doesn't get nearly as many points. You want to get your best players first.
Flex on.
All right, so at this point, now all of the best players have been taken. Now you start trying to look for some sleepers, because you don't really want to go for, like I was saying, with your kickers, your defenses. You still want to try to get guys that are going to get you points, but you want to look for those sleepers, those guys, those rookies that might help you get points, those guys in your second and third positions, your second, third strings that can help you get points.
All right. Guess Smith and the Jigba.
I hate you.
Smith and the Jigba.
I wanted Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't like you. I hate you so much.
And then it's back to me.
All right, so we have Deontay Johnson and Tua Tagovailoa went between there. Do they have 2 quarterbacks already? No, they don't. That was their first quarterback, was Tua. Tua went late, round 7. Okay. Okay, so now he's got Quentin Johnson, Zach Charbonnet, Richardson from the Colts, Zay Flowers, A-Chain. Those are all the guys that are in his list for ADP.
Wow, it just throws me off when it's like, why is this guy so far down if he's got the most points?
Well, he might have the most points because he's the quarterback projected, but he's in a onesie position. He's where you only need one guy.
Right.
So you want the guys that are in multiple positions.
Yeah.
That can score you more points.
But
He's not going to help you if he's on the bench.
So should be another running back.
Charbonnet, okay. Then Evan Ingram went, Treylon Burks, Pat Freiermuth, James Cook, Jahan Dotson, David Njoku. And then back to me, I've got Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Hurts, Damian Pierce, DJ Moore, Darren Waller, Mike Williams. And now is where it gets really tricky. So I got Mike Williams. I would have liked Quentin Johnston, but he's also on... Well, actually, that's not such a bad idea, but he might fall to me. I've got 6 spots before it comes back. Yeah, he's probably not going to fall to me. So, Kadarius Toney. See, this is where it gets a bit tricky, because Kadarius Toney might be the lead wide receiver, but he's got injury concerns. Juju in New England. Antonio Gibson, Brandon Cooks. I don't think Brandon Cooks is going to do much of anything. Michael Thomas is not going to do much of anything. So I'm gonna take a sleeper on Quentin Johnston. I believe in his talent, and if Mike Williams goes down, it's going to be Quentin Johnston. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Quentin Johnston. It's a bit iffy there, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Oh, let me.
Did you pause it?
Nah, reload. All right, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kadarius Toney, Brandon Cooks, A.J. Dillon all went in between. Let me pause that real quick. So, now I've got it paused, and I do not believe in Michael Thomas at all.
Jamel.
All right, so I've got Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. I really don't need another quarterback, at least at this time. I need to go ahead and take some swings. Let's go ahead and Antonio Gibson he's a lead back. So I'm going to go ahead and take Antonio Gibson here because he definitely has a chance to do some damage. So let's go there. And after Michael Thomas still got picked up, but it is a robot. Dalton Schultz, Samaje Perine, Cortland Sutton, Gabe Davis, Jamal Williams, and back to David.
Still not in them double digits yet. I mean, basically are. Might as well just pick kicker and defense.
If you feel the need and you feel like you have enough top end of your players here, then
I do.
Then go ahead.
It's like a good amount. I mean, it wouldn't.
Because no one else has picked a kicker. As soon as you do, the robots are going to be like, hey, someone's been taken, and go ahead and do it.
That's funny. Dang, yeah. Because you don't need 2 tight ends, right? I'm sure I'll get something rolling here once I start picking a kicker. On the kicker point things, what's XPM?
Extra points made.
Oh. Butker. That's a point maker, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good kicker?
Yep.
Did you say he's the best kicker?
No.
Is on the top of the list they think is who the best is?
Yeah.
The Tuckster?
Yeah.
But why is his points so low? I guess the 115 isn't, right?
Yeah.
It's just the extra points that
he
could be better at. I mean, I don't know. Young Ho didn't do me dirty.
If you trust Young Ho,
he was pretty good.
Yeah, well, Young Hui. I think it's Young Hui.
I believe it's Young Ho. He likes it like that. Okay, yeah, I guess if that is the best kicker, then the best of the best. Oh,
yeah. See, the machine's like, why would you do that so soon?
Be like, talk about rookie. Oh wow. So once again, why is that low point on the top of the list? 83 over 105. What's that about?
And that's just
like a fluke?
No, that's just how people drafted. No, that's just how people drafted them.
Everyone was just like,
but,
number one defense,
no,
Washington.
No. Well, also at this point, the ADP has gone and hit over 100. So now this is not really in order.
Okay, so defense, this is just, I'm going in blind. I'm like, who do you like?
Yeah.
I think Washington's defense is pretty good, right? Is that what I've been hearing? Or am I thinking that?
It's decent. It's around middle of the pack. At maybe near top 10. Near top 10. Not actually.
Choose from this. I don't know these guys' defense. The Seahawks, there's that the team I'm thinking this guy could defend, or is it
used to be a good.
Used to, not no more. Oh my gosh,
they're trying to build it back up.
I know those Eagles play dirty. Are they the new best defense?
Yeah, they're actually really good
defense-wise.
Yeah. Well, just go after highest projected points. There you go.
Ew, 49ers.
It's right there.
Gross. No.
What's wrong with the Niners?
Just
because you're a Cowboys fan. That's
trick.
Why.
It's a trick.
What do you mean it's a trick?
I don't feel like that's real data.
You don't trust their ranking system?
No. And see, it's weird because that picture I sent you on the magazine, it showed the. Oh my gosh.
You better hurry. You pick something. Go. Oh, it didn't give you a what the?
It didn't give me a what?
It didn't give you a what the?
Because everybody knows. They're like, this boy knows something we don't know.
All right, now we got a Kirk Cousins, Khalil Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Al Lazard. And now it's back to me. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 wide receivers, 1, 2, 3 running backs. So I'm going to go back to flex and see what I can get. Jameson Williams is suspended, which does not help anything.
Oh, Beckham.
Oh, this is not helpful. So this is where it gets really, really tricky. You gotta pick those flyers and hopefully something happens.
Adam Thielen.
No, see, that's not what we want here. So, I mean, Odell, he's probably going to be pretty trustworthy, at least solid in Baltimore. He's not going to be the top guy. He's probably going to be second. He's going to be second. Well, he's going to be third fiddle behind Mark Andrews and not Rondale Moore, Rashad Bateman. So I'm going to go ahead and take Odell here, just because I don't know what Elijah's going to be able to do. It would have been nice to if I trusted Elijah, but I really don't. Let's see. Then Elijah Moore actually went after Jamal Williams there. Then Cole Kmet, Tyler Algier, Dalton Kincaid, Chigakonkwo. Now it's back to me. Damon Harris in Buffalo. It's not a bad pick here. And let's see. So let's actually do that. Just because I think I have them about even. Because I did already start working on rankings for Buffalo, and I have them about even with James Cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And granted, in Buffalo, it's Josh Allen as RB1. We all know that, but they're not far behind. I have them basically as RB1 and then RB 1.1 and 1.2 as far as that works out. So Josh Allen is going to be the goal line back with a little bit of help from the other guys. Jacoby Myers, Geno Smith, Adam Thielen, Elijah Mitchell, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff right after that. And then back to David. Who we got?
3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, kicker, and defense. So should I get another tight end?
You don't really need to. You can stream tight end when something goes wrong, because you got Dallas Goedert. That's not such a bad choice.
Yeah. So mainly we're picking running backs and wide receivers then?
You're trying to fill out the rest of your roster. You might want to get another quarterback just to
in case mine goes kaput.
Yeah. And you've got some decent guys to help back you up. Because who's your top guy right now? Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to hold you out. And then in case he gets hurt, you might want to have another guy.
Not even. Oh, because I'm not looking at it. I'm like, where are the quarterbacks? Rebel Wilson.
Who had a crappy year last year, but he's got the old New Orleans coach coming in.
I don't really gonna help.
It might. He did wonderful things with. I'm blanking on his name right now. Crap! I can't remember. Drew Brees. There we go. Oh, you got to pick someone.
Oh, we'll try this guy.
Bryce Young.
Baby Young.
Rookie quarterback. All right, then Jerick McKinnon and Deontay Foreman went next. Who you got?
I feel like D. Singletary didn't do very well last.
Well, he's also in Houston now. He's behind Dameon Pierce. And at least the way that I feel with that, Dameon Pierce is going to be the lead back with most of the carries, but probably about a 55-45 split. That's my feeling.
For Singletary?
Yeah. Because Dameon Pierce is a hard runner. He actually got the angriest run staff last year, which is given out from Good Morning Football.
Or D. Mooney. Not like that's a question. Oof.
Mm-hmm. Makes it tough. Real tough.
Guess I'll go with Boyd Stir.
Okay. So that's Tyler Boyd. He's going to be the third wide receiver in Cincinnati. Then we got Devin Singletary went after, Greg Dulcich, Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore, Ezekiel Elliott, who's free agent, then Russell Wilson, then back to me. Let's go flex. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to worry about another tight end. So now we're going flyers, which are different than sleepers. So sleepers are guys you really believe can actually hit that next level and really help you out. But no one really knows, but you have a good feeling. Mm-hmm. Then the flyers are guys you're like, well, they might. Let's see. So we got Sam Laporta. Now, I don't believe in Sam Laporta. Jonathan Mingo, I believe in his talent. He's just with a rookie quarterback, and he is a rookie. So with rookie wide receivers, they're not really going to hit their stride until the second half of the season. It's really rare that they hit the stride at the first half of the season, especially since he's with a rookie quarterback. But he's also the biggest wide receiver that was drafted. But it was just a really small wide receiver class also. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jonathan Mingo just to see what happens. We got Raheem Mostert, Condre Miller, Tyler Higbee, Rashee Rice, R. Johnson, Kyler Murray. And back to me. Couldn't hurt to take another quarterback. Okay, I was actually hoping Derek Carr would get back to me. So just sure up quarterback. Hold on there. Sam Laporta. Then see, it's back to David. Let me go ahead and pause real quick. So let this refresh. All right, and reload. There we go. Let's see, Juwan Johnson, Zay Jones, Tyler Bigsby. Or Tank Bigsby, sorry. All right, I'm going to resume. All right, we've only got a few rounds left. So at this point now we can start taking kickers and defense just to flush things out. Not much available.
No, there.
Now it's getting iffy. Sky Moore, Gerald Everett. He took Jeff Wilson. It's back to David. Who you got?
I thought you said you had two tight ends.
No, I don't have two.
I don't know what to get. So I got 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 1 of all the other stuff.
That's solid. I mean, if
2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. You can check your team right there. Click on team. You can see exactly what you have. Just all laid out there.
3 more spots. Scheisse.
Yeah, you would have a chance to go. You don't really need 3 quarterbacks.
3 quarterbacks.
So I would say it would be best just to go ahead and get some more wide receivers, running backs. You can never really have too many. Because you never know who's going to have a better shot off your bench.
True. All right. Let's see for bet on Gallup.
So you took Gallup. Then Fournette, who's a free agent. Romeo Dobbs. All right, see now it's... Oh, there we go. Then Jordan Reed. Well, not Jordan Reed. Who's this? Jaden Reed. Not a player I know. So you're getting to the point where it's really hard to tell. Jordan Love, Jalen Warren, who I was hoping would get back to me. Chajay Spears. All right, so I've got Jalen Hyatt with the New York Giants, who they don't really have a wide receiver, so that might not be a bad choice. CJ Stroud, I've already got 2 quarterbacks. Hunter Renfrow with Vegas might come back to me. Jalen Hyatt, that's kind of a flyer. They've got no other wide receivers, like I said, so let's go ahead and just take that flyer. There we go. I've already got 4 running backs. Let's see. And I honestly need a kicker. Or, yeah, I know, Koo. I always get Koo if he ends up falling down.
Whoa.
So
you don't always get Koo. I get Koo.
Yeah, see, now everyone's getting kickers. And then it comes back
to me, baby, me.
So it's just a bunch of kickers, and then it's going to be defense when it comes back around. See, now you have choices. And I'd say right there, Renfro's right at the top. Renfro would be a good choice right there. because he is good for PPR. Comes back to you after Nick Folk and the Chargers.
I guess Jay Ford.
And Jay Ford, Chiefs, Raiders, Texans, Titans.
Everyone's
Surprised Texans went so high. And it comes back to me.
Yeah, Texans suck.
Well, no, it's because they now have a defensive coach.
Oh.
And the Eagles are left up there. I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles there. Bam! Draft is done. So I'm going to squeeze this down so we can take a look at everything. So that was a total of 16 rounds. So we've got, on my team, I've got Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Hurts, Damian Pierce, DJ Moore, Darren Waller, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston, Antonio Gibson, Odell Beckham, Damian Harris, Jalen Mingo, Derek Carr, Jalen Hyatt, Younghoe Koo, and the Eagles to fill out my team. And then David has Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Dallas Goedert, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Charbonnet, Tucker, the 49ers, Bryce Young, Tyler Boyd, Wilson, Michael Gallup, Hunter Renfrow, and Ford to fill out his team. So it's actually pretty balanced. I've got a total of 4 running backs, 7 wide receivers. So that's probably going to be where my flex goes, wide receiver. I've only got 1 tight end, which is fine. I flex it whenever he goes out, though hopefully he just doesn't get hurt. Jalen Hurts and Derek Carr, that's my quarterbacks. Always going to be Hurts unless something happens. And then, of course, defense and kicker. Then he's got 5 running backs. 6 wide receivers, so probably the same thing. That'd be his flex. And then he's got Trevor Lawrence, probably his starter, unless Bryce Young happens to hit it off with Reich over there in Carolina. How did you feel about that mock draft?
It was pretty good. I kind of wish this could be saved, where it's just like we're in a mock league. Like, I just want to see where this goes.
Well, I mean, Sleeper's like, hey, this was good. You want to make this to a league? It does that all the time. But no, you can't quite do that. The nice thing about mocks is you see, like I said earlier, how it feels about being in this position. So whenever we do draft, I'll randomize just like we did your position and see where, and you'll see where you end up. But you get to kind of get a feel. So you might not exactly be at team 11, but you might be at team 9 or team 10 or team 12. So you have an idea of that's kind of what your team might look like at that position. And you can then go mock and pick one of those other positions or pick the same one and try again and go with another set of wide receivers. But remember, like I told you before, where at this position, that would probably be the best way to do it is go ahead and get some running backs right there.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. You went ahead and got some running backs.
Hell yeah.
And you ended up pretty good. You got Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, 2 top running backs. And then your wide receivers were, they're not the top guys just because
they all got taken.
Well, yeah, and that was going to happen just with the way that the draft is this season. Now, I did more of a split just because Christian McCaffrey happened to fall to me, which I wasn't expecting at all. Eckler came in first, which was weird. I was expecting to probably get one of these wide receivers here. Not just Jefferson, maybe one of these guys, Chase or Kupp. That's just not what happened. So because Christian McCaffrey fell, that's just what happened.
Yeah.
You just got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Don't be like, this is who I'm going to get. Bam.
Yeah.
No, it's not it.
Right. Build your whole team around one guy. Everything is ruined.
But yeah, so I went with what some of my rankings were, and then eventually your rankings kind of go out the window after the first 6-7 rounds, because at that point you're just, okay, who do you feel is going to work, because so many players have been taken off the board. And then you start going with, okay, who are your sleepers, and then who do you really want to avoid. And then after a certain point, because even more players off the board, you're just like, okay, who do you feel might have a real shot? Like, who are those, not sleepers, but who are those flyers late in the draft? So there we go. That was our mock draft. And this will, you'll be able to see this in the video if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening, I went ahead and said it all, so you can go ahead and rewind and rewind and listen over again if you want to hear what it was. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do more of these with different setups, different places within the actual mock, and especially when we start doing more videos per week, more podcasts per week, then you'll be able to get more ideas about how to do these and different ways to flesh out the actual draft. But I like to do multiples of these, at least 3, sometimes more, just to get a better idea, because as the commissioner, I've asked, hey, do you guys want me to set up your positions and randomize them a month or 2 in advance? And everyone just said, no, just do it how you did it. Let us know an hour beforehand. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. Yeah. And that's just what they want to do. If it was me, I'd be like, no, let me know 2 months before so I can mock just in this spot and find out the best thing to do. But you'll notice, just like this thing said, even though the ADP expected Justin Jefferson to go first, that's not even what happened. He went to Team 5 after me. And I could have taken Justin Jefferson, but Christian McCaffrey was there, and he was so much more appealing to take the running back that he's going to be a receiver and a running back, and I couldn't pass him up. Justin Jefferson is not going to run with the ball. He's only going to catch the ball. And I had him last year, and he was great, but he also had some of those games where he just disappeared, and because he was the only one that was going to do anything with the ball. And Christian McCaffrey, even when he disappeared, he still had 12, 13 points. So he doesn't really disappear. When Justin Jefferson disappeared, he had 2. So it's a really, really big difference. But yeah, mock drafting is fun, just so you have a general idea of what you can do at what position in the draft, and you can just practice. Just, what can I do? And again, don't try to fill your top part of the roster. Don't do that. You started kind of feeling, no, don't do it. Don't try to do that. Get your most points first, as best as you can. Try to get that quarterback, if you really want him. Practice what it's going to be like getting him early, like I did. I got Jalen Hurts in the 3rd to see what that's going to feel like and how it's going to affect the rest of my roster. And it didn't hurt too bad because I got Christian McCaffrey and Jalen Waddle first, so it didn't really hurt me too much. And what I might want to do is practice at this same spot and see what happens if I don't take Hurts, and then try to get another quarterback later. So I might end up with a Dak Prescott or an Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins later on, and that might not be too bad. And I might have Devontae Smith or T. Higgins in that spot instead of Jalen Hurts because they went right around there. So it's just good practice. I like to do it. It's fun. Whenever you're doing this by yourself, this took a lot longer just because we were talking through each one. I had another person going. I would do this at work, and it would take me 20 minutes, if that. I just do it during my lunch, and it goes by real quick. And it's really good practice. I save them all, and then when it comes to the real day of the draft, I can just see them all spliced together and figure it out. Oh, okay, this is what I did when I know my draft position. Oh, I did all these at pick 4, so I can have an idea of, okay, I was kind of able to do this. But yeah, so mock draft and just practice. Practice makes as close to perfect as you can get, because fantasy is about a lot of luck and what can fall to you. Christian McCaffrey fell to me at this point. I could have gotten Justin Jefferson. Based on ADP, I shouldn't have been able to do either one of those things, but it happens. So yeah, hopefully that was a good place to start so you guys can see how to get it done. Hopefully you had a fun time. I had a fun time. I kind of wish this was my team, but yeah. That's not
we should make it happen. Just have a 2-man league.
That's not going to be a good league. That's going to be boring. I've done a 4-man league.
Fight it out.
I did that only 1 year, and everybody made it to the playoffs. No matter what you did.
Crazy. See, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, hope you guys had fun listening. I heard you had fun. I had fun. So all right, until next time. Peace out, ballers.